Okay, right, grade 11s. Today I'm going to go through the answers to question 3 of the trig consolidation. Okay, question 3.1 says to you, if A is equal to 37,5 degrees and B is equal to 28,2 degrees, they want us to find the answer to the sine of A plus the cos of B. So that's easy enough to do. All we're going to do is instead of A, we're going to substitute 37,5 degrees, and instead of B, we're going to substitute 28,2 degrees. Right. Exactly as that stands is how you put it into your calculator, okay? So you go sine 37,5 close bracket plus cos 28,2 close bracket, and if you do that, you will get 1,49. Be careful of your rounding when you do ones like this. 3.1.2 says to you they want the sine squared of A, which is 37,5, minus the tan, and I'm going to use a square bracket here because it's 2 times A, which is 37,5 degrees, plus B, which is 28,2 degrees. Okay. Now the only difficult part here is what am I going to do with this? Okay, and that's easy enough to do. That means exactly the same as the sine of 37,5 all squared. Okay, so again, all I do is I take my calculator, I type in sine 37,5 squared, and if I do that, I get 0,37 minus, and I go tan, open a big bracket, 2 times 37,5 plus 28,2 minus 4,26. And if I do that, I get an answer of minus 3,89. Okay, so those are fairly easy to do. Question 3.2.1 wants to know in which quadrant will the tan of theta be smaller than naught, and at the same time will the cos of theta be greater than naught. So here we have to know our cos diagram. So what I always do is I draw a little cos diagram. Okay, all stations to Cape Town, or your cos diagram. Okay, I start with the first one and I say, right, where is tan negative? Well, tan is positive in first and third, so tan must be negative in second and fourth. Then I take a different color. Where is cos positive? Well, cos is positive in first and fourth. Where do these overlap, i.e. where will they both be allowed at the same time? In the fourth quadrant. Okay, in the fourth quadrant. All right, the next one, 3.2.2. They want to know where the sine of theta times the cos of theta is going to be smaller than naught. Now I've got to be careful here, because remember, if I want to get a negative answer, I can either have a plus times a minus, or I can have a minus times a plus. Okay, so let's draw our little cos diagram. All stations to Cape Town. Okay, now I'm going to do the first one first. So I want to know where is sine positive. So sine is positive in first and second. Okay, where is cos negative? So cos is negative in second and third, and therefore this will be in the third quad. That's one of my possible answers. But now I'm going to have to draw another one. All stations to Cape Town, or your cos diagram. Okay, so now I'm going to deal with this. And this one says, where is sine negative? So sine is negative in third and fourth. Where is cos negative? Where is cos positive, I'm sorry. Where is cos positive? In first and fourth. Where do they overlap? Therefore, they're all going to be in the third quadrant. All right, does that make sense? Right. 3.2.3. They give me sine squared theta minus 2 sine theta times the cos of theta plus cos squared theta must be greater than or equal to 0. And they asked me to find out in which quadrants this is going to be. So if I look at this, the first thing that I notice is that it's got 3 terms, so it's a trinomial. Okay, what I sometimes quite like to do is just say, well, imagine that that was x squared minus 2xy plus y squared. Surely I could factorize that. Okay, it's going to be x minus y and x minus y. So if I go back in, I'm going to have sine of theta minus cos of theta all times the sine of theta minus the cos of theta. And if I rewrite that, I'm going to have sine of theta minus the cos of theta all squared must be greater than or equal to 0. Okay. Now what do I know about anything in the world squared? It's always going to be positive, isn't it? Okay, so what do I know about this answer? It's going to be in every single quad, because whether sine theta minus cos theta gives me a negative or a positive answer, when I square it, it will be greater than 0. So the answer to this is therefore it will be in all quadrants. Okay, it's going to be in all quadrants. Right. 3.4. All right. Negative root 5 sine of theta is equal to 1. Okay, so they've given me an equation. They've also given me a restriction. They've said the tan of theta must be greater than 0. Okay. And they say, with the use of a calculator, with the use of a calculator, and if you need to, with the aid of a sketch. Whack and was, okay? All right, as soon as you see those words, you know it's a Pythagorean sort question. All right, what's the first thing I do? I isolate for my trig ratio always. So if I isolate for my trig ratio, there I get 2 sides in a right angle triangle. Okay, but now I've got to decide which triangle I'm in. Okay, so I do a little cast diagram on the side. Right, where is sine negative? Well, sine is negative in 3rd and 4th. Where is tan positive? In 1st and 4th. Where do these overlap? In the 3rd quadrant. So if I had to draw this little picture now, I'm going to draw it in the 3rd quadrant. Now please, the 3rd quadrant is the one that you've got to be very careful about, especially because of its signs. Okay. Alright, I know that the sine of theta is 1 over negative root 5, i.e. opposite over adjacent. So, 1 root 5. Okay. Am I right? No. Let me go back. I make mistakes just as much as you do. Alright. Okay, sine is equal to x over r. Alright, now I haven't on purpose put any signs in here, because the hypotenuse is always going to be positive. So my negative is going to belong there. And if you think about your axes, okay, along this side of your axis is going to be negative. Okay, now, by Pythagoras, I can now find out the other side. Okay, so I'm going to call it y. So I'm going to say y squared plus minus 1 squared must equal the square root of 5 squared. Remember, whenever I use him, I acknowledge him in full. Alright? And if you do this on your calculator, you will get y is equal to 4. Okay, I mean y squared is equal to 4. i.e. y could be equal to plus or minus 2. So again here you've got to use your brain. You've got to think, hang on, if I'm going down here, what do I know? I know that it's going to have to be a negative value. Okay. Alright. Once I've done that, okay, the question now says, and that's the important part. Once that's done, it's easy. The question says to me, find the answer of the cos of theta minus the sine of theta. So I go into my triangle, cos is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, or x over r, minus sine is equal to, well, they gave it to me at the beginning, negative 1 over root 5. And if I do this, I am going to shoot myself because I've done this all wrong. Okay. Scratch. I'm going to end the video on this, and then I'll come back and do that just now. I put it in the wrong quadrants. See, I'm a teacher. I make mistakes.